all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 28th of May. Here's what you need to know. Indian equity markets ended positive yesterday with the benchmark Sensex and Nifty rising 0.6 and 0.7% respectively. The yield on the 10-year benchmark government bond ended lower by a further 6 basis points at 7.16%. Inflows into Indian equities by foreign institutional investors were positive for a third day in a row, with the FII's net buying stocks worth 1,200 crore rupees. Let's now take you through some of the big news. Anil Ambani will sell his FM radio broadcasting business to Music Broadcast Limited, which is a unit of Jagran Prakashan, for at least 1,050 crore rupees. The deal will be done in phases and is expected to be closed in the first quarter of the financial year starting 2020. A potential fraud detected by investigative agencies at crisis-hit Jet Airways led to the issuance of a lookout circular against Naresh Goyal and his wife, according to a senior government official who spoke to Bloomberg Quint. Naresh Goyal and his wife Anita Goyal were stopped from flying out of the country over the weekend by immigration authorities based on a lookout circular issued on the request of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. ArcelorMittal is exploring a joint offer with Resurgent Power Ventures to buy an SR power generation plant in India. That's a Bloomberg story. The companies have had initial talks on a potential joint bid for the 1,200 megawatt power plant in the state of Madhya Pradesh. ArcelorMittal had earlier made a non-binding offer of 4,800 crore rupees for the asset. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has issued guidelines directing disclosure of the status of interest and redemption payments on listed debt securities within 1 day of the date due. India's largest iron ore miner, NMDC, has increased prices by the most in 7 months in May, at a time when global rates of the raw material are hovering near their 5-year highs. A CRISIL report released yesterday suggested that the profitability of Indian IT companies is likely to be impacted by changes in US visa rules, specifically for H-1B visas, with the margins expected to narrow by up to 80 basis points in the current financial year. In international news, Alibaba is going back for a second helping to the primary markets. The e-commerce giant is working on a potential Hong Kong share offering that could raise $20 billion after its record-breaking 2014 New York IPO. The US isn't ready to make a trade deal with China, according to President Donald Trump. He said this while on a state visit to Japan. He also said that American tariffs on Chinese goods could go up very, very substantially, very easily. His comments come after trade talks between the two countries stalled earlier in the month. Each side has blamed the other. Bitcoin resumed its march yesterday, rising 10% to almost $9,000 and extending the cryptocurrency's best one-month rally since 2017, when it was red hot. In India, though, remember that the Reserve Bank of India has barred banks from facilitating the purchase of not just Bitcoin but all cryptocurrency, effectively choking off the use of alternative currency. Asian stocks started with modest gains at the open, with no US trading to take cues from on account of the Memorial Day holiday. Treasuries in the US headed higher. In fact, US 10-year yields approached their lowest level since October 2017. Well, with that, it's over to Neeraj Shah, who will tell you all about the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Neeraj. What are we looking forward to today?
Thanks a lot for that, Alex, and good morning, viewers. Lots of stocks in news, so let me cut the chase and get straight to the point. Remember, the SGX Nifty is indicating a start which is flattish, but when has that mattered in the last few days? The Indian markets have generally been doing well on all days. Maybe, just maybe, today could be a day of consolidation if the morning starts out the way the SGX Nifty is indicating. But we'll get to know about that in a bit. First, the stocks. Amongst companies that came out with results or news last evening post-market hours, Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone, the net profit, the numbers were below estimates. Keep that at the back of your mind because the revenues were flattish, down about 3.2%. EBITDA was flat. Net profit was up about 38%. There was an exceptional loss as well, but more importantly, they have said they're going to consider the dividend and the buyback on June 4th, and the total payout amount is expected to increase the regular dividend payout. Adani Ports might be an important stock to monitor today. Interglobe Aviation came out with numbers which by and large seem to be in line with estimates. Yes, the reported profit number seems 5x up at 590 crores versus 118 crores, and margins have gone up to 26%. But keep in mind, this is by and large in line with estimates. So you got to keep that at the back of your mind. Some companies that came out with good numbers included an NHPC, wherein the revenues were up 72%, EBITDA was up 2.5 times, and the margins increased 50%. Pokarna, excellent results, but the stock was already up 11% in trading day yesterday, so maybe the market is already discounting that. And Usha Martin, wherein the revenues were up about 9.6%, but the margins increased to 13.5 versus 8.6%. So these are some very good numbers that came out. A couple of companies had very poor numbers, including Oil India, wherein the revenue and EBITDA were down. There was an exceptional loss as well. And Natco Pharma, we've seen what's happened to Divi's Lab yesterday after poor numbers. Natco has come out with numbers which weren't the most inspiring, with revenue down 41%, margins at 32.5% versus 50%. The net profit down about 60%. Maybe weaker than expected. Flu season resulted in an inventory write-off of 38 crores as well. So all of that weighing in on Natco Pharma. Music broadcast will be in focus because of the corporate action. And at some point of time today, we will watch out for what's happening to some of the consumption names like Page Industries, which lost quite a bit of market cap yesterday because of the poor results. Is there a P multiple contraction coming in or already set in for some of the consumption names is the question that the market would ask. But watch out for all of these names. Some of these could be big reactions on open today. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Neeraj. Well, that's all we have for you on this podcast, but there's a lot more on the website bloombergquint.com, so don't forget to check it out. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a lovely day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.